The Real Estate Photography Podcast is brought to you by TourBuzz.net, high-definition virtual tour and photograph hosting, now with interactive floor plans. Sign up for your free trial today. Hello and welcome to the Real Estate Photography Podcast with Mike Muriello. Today we have an exterior tip and it has to do with the most basic principles of pole aerial photography, and that is height. Now, back in one of the original composition tips, we talked about height in an interior photograph and how that changes, everything in the picture. So now I wanted to talk about the height of an exterior picture. And I actually went through and did individual shots, 4 different shots of this house, and I picked this house for 2 reasons. Number one, there is a mountain, in the back that really gives us a really good idea of what happens when you change just a couple of feet in height, how drastic it changes the background of the picture. And the second reason I chose this one is because it's a small house. It's not very large, and I wanted to show you what happens when you get up really high. On a small house. All right. So anyway, this is the first one taken at 6 feet. The second one's taken at 9 feet. The third one's taken at 13 feet, and the fourth one is at 16 feet, all in height. So I'll go through that again as we go through, but I just wanted to give you a quick idea. So we went from 6 feet all the way up to 16 feet, and there's a pretty big difference, a few feet make. All right. So here we go. This is 6 feet. Now, you probably would have thought this is shot on level with the house, but it's not. I'm not actually on the ground shooting. Otherwise, you wouldn't be able to see this roof line here. It just wouldn't be possible. And this is actually 6 feet up in the air. All right. So now let's go up to 9 feet. You get a little bit more of the roof line, especially over here. And I'm gonna, not to disorient you, but go back and forth. A little bit more roof, and we actually see this house back here. The other thing that changed pretty dramatically is the level of the mountains. 6 feet, 9 feet. They went up quite a bit. All right, now let's take this up to 13 feet. So this is 9 feet. Here comes 13. All right, so what's happened is, obviously, the mountain level has been raised again to almost flush with the roof, and you actually get to see more houses back here. So here, hidden, there, you can actually see them. Not necessarily a positive thing, but just to illustrate a point. The other thing is, I didn't use this picture, and I didn't crop it the same way. So this is cropped in a little bit tighter. This is the the master. This is what it actually covered. So I would never want to show that house to the left, if possible. All right. Last one. This one's at 13. Let's move up to 16 feet in height. All right. So 16 feet in height gives us the mountain line above the roof line, and that's actually that's good. Not necessarily in this one. That's good in some houses because you want to be able to show that the mountains and the scenic views are behind your house, but not when there is a development surrounding you, kind of detracting from the view. So once again, 13 feet. 16 feet. The other reason, like I said, that point number 2, why I picked this one because it was small, is to show you what happens when you get really high on a small house. I think this is about as high as you ever want to go on a small house, 16 feet. And here's the reason. The higher you go on a smaller property, and this happens on some medium and large size properties too, but mostly on the small ones, is you dwarf the house. You make it seem too small. The whole reason you're using pole aerial photography is to get a better representation of the property, is to capture it and to show how large it really is, or how whatever, to show the size accurately. When you start to go too high on a house, because I don't know why, because you can, if you have a 20-foot or a 30-foot pole, it doesn't really help explain how large the house is into relation to other things. The higher you go, the smaller it looks. So the goal here is not to make it look smaller. The goal is to make it representative. All right, so let me just go back and I'll review just one more time. There's 6 feet, 9 feet, 13, 16. The one I chose for this one was the 9-footer, and here's why. Because this is it's on level, it's fine, but I wanted to show a little bit more mountainscape. I chose this one because the one next to it, 13 feet, is we start to get those houses, and those houses they bug me. And we don't want someone to think, well, my view is tarnished by these other houses. That's going to be their, and we won't even go look at the property. That's going to be their choice when they go to look at it. This is the one I chose. I like the mountains in the background. I like the height, and that's it. All right, so I hope that gives you a quick overview of how much height impacts your aerial photography. Thanks for watching. Have a good one.